How do you know if you lived a good one? Now wake up every day with the intention to do that. Live good so you're happy with the answers at the end.
I want my audience to hear that story from you.
Yeah.
Because I think that everyone's either had one of those moments or they're going to have one of those moments.
Yeah.
And I want everyone who's listening and watching right now to either be prepared if they're about to have one, or maybe not even wait for that to happen.
Yeah.
And for those who have had it, to really use it to their advantage. So let's start with that accident that changed your mindset, that changed the urgency of life for you.
Yeah. I'll give the takeaway because it's a little bit of a long story.
I know it is.
The takeaway is at the end of our lives, if we have a moment of cognition, we're going to lay there in bed and we're going to ask questions about our life to evaluate whether or not we were happy with it. And what I've always suggested to people is maybe don't pretend you're living your purpose unless you know the questions you're going to ask at the end of your life. How do you evaluate it? Because otherwise you're just kind of living randomly. But when you know, I'm going to evaluate my life this way at the very end, now every day you can wake up with intention. Now every day you get to wake up with purpose, which is why I love the name of your show, because that's my thing too. It's like this deep connection to some type of purpose so that at the end of our life, we're happy. There's no regrets. There's no sadness. There's no, oh my gosh, why was I this way? Or why did I wait to do that? And my unique story is that I got that gift at 19 years old. The story is my girlfriend and I from high school, we were high school sweethearts and like the super annoying kind, like we became like high school sweethearts and we were the make out at the locker and, stop it. You ever have that couple who stops hanging out with their friends because they get so much lovey-dovey? That was us. We just so fell in love with each other. We stopped hanging out with friends, stopped doing anything else, fell in love. She wanted to go to college. I was just going to do like landscaping. I mean, I was going to do like art projects on this. I didn't have a real ambition to go to college yet. We went to college together, shared a U-Haul on the way over, lived in the same dorms, signed up for the same classes, had the same friends, like the whole 9 yards. Like literally our life was completely intertwined. And then at the end of that, or in that first semester of school, she discovered beer and other men and cheated on me.
Wow. And
I don't know if you've ever been this way, but when your whole identity is wrapped up in a relationship and then the relationship falls apart, you fall apart.
100%.
That's what happened. I fell apart. I fell mentally, emotionally, spiritually, completely apart. Couldn't get out of bed. Stopped going to classes. Friends deeply concerned about me coming over, trying to motivate. Let's go out. And I was like, I can't. I just would lay there and like cry, basically. And like two things really changed my life, which I didn't realize till later. One was I was always a reader. Like I'm really happy about all the accolades I've gotten and everything else, but the thing that has driven my life is I love books. When I meet with people, I want to talk about books. I love books. And so I was still reading. So here I am depressed in bed. And I remember this is like several days after I'd planned suicide. Full on, not like thinking about it, wrote the letter, made a couple calls, and had planned to end my life. Laying in bed, super sad, opened the school newspaper, and there was an ad in the school newspaper. So I'm reading. Second thing that changed my life was marketing. Here's this ad, full page ad, white sandy beach, turquoise water, blue sky, green palm tree, and across the top, like the best headline ever for a young man in pain. The headline across the top said, "Escape." And I was like, yeah, summertime job, students needed, Dominican Republic.
Wow.
Now I'm in Montana at the time, at the University of Montana. I don't even know.
I've been to Montana.
Oh yeah. I don't even know where Dominican Republic is, but I know she's not there. So I'm like, I've got, so take the job. We basically become glorified tour guides for an entrepreneur who works down there who we knew. And my friend Kevin and we hop in the car one night and we go to return where we were staying. And we're going down the shore at 85 miles an hour and Kevin is driving. And we came upon the corner that, here in the US, especially LA, would, U-turn shaped yellow sign, slow down 15 miles an hour, but developing country, new road, no sign. So we go around the corner and Kevin immediately like grabs the wheel, Brandon, hold on. And he cranks it. And I didn't know then was what happened was emotional, spiritual, mental, make believe, who knows, in my mind of what happened in the next couple of minutes. But when you're sliding in death's doorway, you have questions about life. It comes through as a feeling. Like, because at first it's like that brace, that terror in a car accident, there's a piece of that. If you ever think, like, you don't want to die. And if you've ever been in a car accident, that weird slow motion thing happens. So that's why I said, I don't know where it was, because it's like this super slow motion. And I felt this brace, and I really felt and sensed this, like, did I live? Did I live my life? Later I can think about, like, because of course we want to know, did we live vibrant and free and a lot, our life? But at that point, I'd lived her life. I'd lived my parents' and professors' lives. And I really hadn't been living. I'd been thinking about taking my life. We went to, the car slid sideways off the road, and we hit this little retainer wall, and it popped us up into the air. And I hit the side of my head. And I started seeing all these images of these times in my life when I was surrounded by people that I loved. And it was like these scenes, these just beautiful. It wasn't omniscient. It wasn't like a near-death experience per se. It was just these beautiful scenes when I could see family members and everybody else. And because at the end of your life, you think about who you're going to miss and who's going to miss you, which triggers this other question of, did I love? And, you talk about it too. Like, we want to know that we really love fully and completely and free, not from terror or fear or need. I hadn't loved. My heart had been shut down. And I always say to people, it's like, you have to be careful. We've been hurt because we build up these walls to protect ourselves. We put on the mask, or we get, serious and stiff. But when you build up that wall to keep out the bad guys, you also block out the good guys. Mm. And in our own self-protection, we block out the very things we really desperately desire, which is connection. Car hit the ground, rolled several times. I got knocked out completely. When I came to, Kevin is next to me in the driver's seat, screaming at the top of his, just terrified. His eyes are wild like an animal, and a huge chunk of his head is open. And there's just blood everywhere. And this fear is like, what's going on? But I'm like in shock. He crawls outside the driver's side window. I go to get outside mine, but I can't. The car is smashed on me. And all I have is this hole that used to be in the windshield. I push myself through, and I stand up on the hood of the car. He's screaming, but I'm in this thud, hollow, I don't know how to describe the shock. And I looked down, and I saw on my body, I'm covered in blood. And this just terror hits me. Remember, at 19. And I feel life draining, literally, physically out of me. And I just remember life feeling like it's draining away. And I just remember looking at my feet, which was covered in blood. And I just thought, did I even matter? Did I even make a difference? Was there a reason I was here? And, oh man, it was the worst because I didn't feel like I did. And then I looked down, and the blood was going off the hood of the car, and there was a glint, there was a sparkle in the blood. And I didn't know what it was. It was reflection, so it made me look up. And there was this bright, big, beautiful moon that night that I didn't even see earlier. And it was like this arresting connection. I just felt this connection, and I felt like, it was almost an immediate sense of grace. I was like, I'm going to be okay. Mm. I almost felt like I was told I was going to be okay. And so I call that like my life's golden ticket moment, because I felt like the big guy upstairs, because I believe in God, reached down and handed me like life's golden ticket. Here you go, kid. You're still alive. You can still love. You can still matter. But now the clock is ticking. You lucky young man, you're still alive. And my whole life, I was just like, in that moment, I remember literally looking up at this moon, and I didn't know I didn't know what the feelings were at the time, because I've had a lot of time to think about this, obviously 23 years ago. And I just remember thinking, I will earn this. And I felt that next breath is like, I'm going to be okay. Kevin and I don't mean to ruin the story for everybody, but I survived. It's like, I'm okay. I'm alive. Kevin survived. Lots of cuts, bruises, and broken bones, terrified kids. But for me, what I took away with it was both the reverence for life, the appreciation for life, the timing of life, that the clock is ticking on all of us, but also this desire to, I want to earn it. Like I felt so blessed. I felt like I got away with it. You know what I mean? Like, how did I skirt death? I want to earn this. So in the hospital later, I was thinking about those feelings and I was like, oh, wow. I kind of asked myself, did I live? Did I love? And did I matter? And it really hit me. I thought, that's a gift right there. Those are the questions I'm going to ask if I'm ever going to die. Did I really live my life? Did I love others? And did I make a difference? Did I matter? And so I decided, remember, I'm 19. I decided at 19, I said, every night I'm going to go to bed, I'm going to ask those 3 questions about my day. So I've asked those for 23. Tonight, I'll go home and I'll ask that same question. 23 years every night. And people go, how do you do so much? I go, when you live your life with intention and purpose, you can get a lot done. Because the nights that I can't say yes to those questions, it's not like I hate myself or I'm sad, right? But the nights I can say yes, I sleep well. And so I've had this simple mission, like I love your mission, make wisdom go viral. Mine has been maybe more depressive to tell people, you're going to die. So how about this? Figure out the questions you're going to ask to evaluate your life. Mine were, did I live, did I love, did I matter? Yours might be, was I a great brother? Was I a great mom? Did I build a movement? Everyone's going to evaluate it differently. I don't have the answer for anybody. I don't know their purpose, but I say, just think. If you're 90 on the rocking chair, or you're 105 on the rocking chair, or you're 200 in the hospice, however old you are, if you have a moment of cognition, you're evaluating life. How do you know if you lived a good one? Now wake up every day with the intention to do that. Live good so you're happy with the answers at the end.